See. Awesome. Thank you so much, Soko. So hello and welcome to the SIG Docs Localization Subproject meeting. It is September 4th, 2023. We're back for another great meeting. Looks like we have a lot of stuff on our agenda. I just would like to welcome everyone and say first off that we are a CNCF meeting, so we abide by the Kubernetes Code of Conduct, which basically boils down to be excellent to each other. So please carry that spirit with you as you engage in this meeting. And we are so happy to have you all here. Looks like we have a few things on our agenda. I posted the agenda in the chat, so if you would like to follow along there, I can also share my screen. But while I'm doing the sharing, if somebody wants, if there are any new contributors here who would like to unmute themselves, please feel free to do so now. We'd love to hear from you and why you joined. If you are new and you would also just like to say hello in the chat, that's that's perfect as well. But we can get going. I think I figured out how to share my screen. So you should be seeing the meeting agenda. If you want to write down your name as being here, that would be awesome. Just so we know who was here. The first item on our agenda is from Soko, so I will hand it off to him if you want to jump in with the first item.
Sure. In the last our sub-project meeting, we have discussed about the automated notification on localization page to alert users for outdated content, out of data content. But there are some false notifications since they are generated automatically. So RB created an issue to improve outdated content warning on localized page, and waiting for some input from me, including me, but sorry, I'm very late to respond. Anyway, for this issue, I'm working on creating a script to check the current status. I hope to see how many pages shows this current outdated notification for all languages, so that we first see the current status, how many pages shows this one, and according to the result, maybe we can set a direction how to improve this issue. So that's all it is from my side. That's all, and I'm premature to open the script itself, but I will open an issue once I check for status, that we can discuss further.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for putting the update on the issue here. So I will remember and where we're at. But that sounds great to hear how many pages this is impacting. It is, I think, a great first step to have this message shown. But then I do think that there was some site-wide update that was made that impacted all the English language pages, that then made all of our localization pages show this message, when really, it didn't necessarily make it true that the content is now outdated. So I think it's great that we're going to update this and make progress. So does anyone, I'm not sure if anyone else had thoughts on this issue who wanted to share. You can do so now, or in the issue that we have as well, if you have thoughts later on. All right. The next one on the list. So this is from a discussion that Divya opened up in the repo about updating our localization contribution guides. I other than minor updates or content updates as we went along, I'm not sure that we've really done a real deep dive into any type of organization or changing up of the format. So we have some thoughts from the community, which Soko has shared. Some of them were for me, considering breaking it up into multiple pages. The whole localization content guide, contribution guide is, this is the guide we're talking about. It's pretty long and it covers a lot of different topics. And I think that there's maybe like 2 audiences. So it's currently aimed at people who are trying to contribute to a localization group and people who are trying to start up an entirely brand new localization or manage a localization project. And I feel like that's kind of 2 separate groups a little bit. So my idea is maybe breaking it up into separate pages. So we have things that look broken up a little bit more like how they are in the English guides for contributing to the content. I'm not sure if that would help as much, but I just sort of thought bringing it down into a couple different pages. You can see on the side, it's got a very long, many topics covered on this page. And what else?
Actually, I agree with you, and I made some suggestion in that discussion, so you can check the link in almost the last one. And this list just captures current status 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. First level header, but in the next reply, I reorganized them into 3 sub-pages for localizing Kubernetes documentation section. First, start a new localization. Second, contribute to an existing localization. And third one is maintaining an existing localization so that we can put some guidelines to make localization teams and contributors keep their localization healthy. Maybe you can reorganize the subsections to into those 3 pages.
Yeah, this is great. I think that I'm just the first time I'm looking at this, but it looks like a great breakdown of the topics. And so you're thinking maybe have these each be pages like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or just all on one page. Oh, these are the current headers.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I see what you did. And then
yeah.
Okay, and then 3 subpages. Okay, I gotcha. I'm with you. Yeah, so I think that I think that makes a lot of sense to me, and I do think this is a really important one that we don't quite cover of the work around maintaining existing localization. I think we have a lot of folks who are excited about starting the localization process, but it is a continuous effort. So once you launch your localization, once you get the initial translation up, there is still work to continue that for each release and for all the changes that you're able to keep up with. So I think that that's a really important piece to kind of dig into more and give people helpful information to how to create the community around supporting a localization project long term. So I think this looks really great to me. Thank you for putting it together.
Yeah, I think my suggestion itself also can be improved. I didn't took quite a long time for that one, so myself, I'm going to improve those lists. Also, maybe can still get some input regarding those suggestions later from the folks.
Yeah, for sure. Does anyone on the call have any thoughts on this? Or have you used the localization guide recently? If you have any thoughts on that in general, would be really interested to hear if anyone here has any thoughts on that page. Well, it's okay if not. But this, I think we're going to be transitioning this discussion into an issue, so we actually have the actionable things that we want to do. If you do have things that come to mind that you'd like to see change or see different, we'll when we this discussion is still open, so you can comment here, and then when we move it into an issue or several issues, whatever we decide to do, we'll also make sure to post those in the Slack channel so folks can get at them. Let me go back to the agenda and see if there's any other items we would want to chat about. Yep, by community support. And then diagrams generally, I think those are helpful for folks to have in a localization guide. We don't currently have those, I think, but I think this idea came from Soko. Actually, you had posted an image that you have for the Korean localization team that I think would be useful to kind of share or make generic or in some way so that people can get that visual. And then we did have a question about maintaining older docs. That was where that comment from. It's a little bit complicated how to maintain all the older docs on the website. So I think that just providing more information is what we're boiling down to, is getting a little more information for folks about how to actually maintain the content once it's launched.
Yeah, actually, I put an issue in the next item regarding the maintaining older releases.
Oh,
so
right. Oh,
actually the question is from Lauren. She asked, is it possible to fix localization docs for older versions of Kubernetes? Older versions means, currently our main branch is live branch for our Kubernetes.io website, and it shows the latest release as well as latest status. But when we pass the previous release, then we create a release page for the previous release. So the question is basically, do we need to update that old releases pages as well? But my answer regarding her question is based on the Korean localization activities experience. It is not and not a decision or not the guideline for the localization teams, but in case of Korean localization team, our team updates the previous release branch only once, just right after starting a new version milestone. You can see in the figure, in the middle there is master line, and then once Kubernetes has been releases, then we create release branch and we update master and keep going. Sorry, it is not master, it is main branch. And we just update the previous release branch just once, not keep updating the previous releases. So in case of Korean localization team, the main branch is the team's top priority. And we don't try to maintain the previous releases branches. And it is actually due to pure contributors for non-English content. And so synchronization and timely localizing all the contents are very challenging. So setting appropriate goal based on each team's situation is very essential, is my opinion. So in case of Korean localization team, we have around 20 localization members, also non-Korean localization team member contributors. But compared to English contributors, there are very few. So Korean localization team tried only focused on the main brand only, not the previous releases. So it's FYI for other localization teams. So I'd like to share the current status for Korean localization team. That's all for this issue. Is there any question regarding on this subject or opinion? Also, maybe it would be beneficial that for each language, maybe their target goal can be announced to their own document so that the local leaders can understand current status of the localization and the objective. For instance, in case of Korean localization, we can say that we only focus on the latest branch only, latest document only, not the document for previous release. But currently, we don't have a place to mention about each team score.
So I think that's a good point. Just in general, thank you for raising this to the meeting so you could chat about it a little more. I know you're having the discussion in Slack as well. So what you're saying is you work on, whatever the current version is. You're working on like, was it 128 that just came out? So you're right now working on the 128 docs. And then when you're done with those or whatever, you'll merge them back into the main branch periodically or whenever they're complete. And then do the same process again when 129 comes out. You'll do another branch and work on those docs and then merge it back in. Okay. Just want to make sure I know that. And I would like to say for contributors base wise, even the English language, the main docs of the Kubernetes docs, they only work on the main docs and the docs for the upcoming release. We don't do anything that's historical on past release branches unless it's something that we would consider like dangerous or potentially very, very problematic for users if we didn't go back and update. So normally for even for the English docs, we don't have the resources to update all of the past releases branches. So we really just focus on what's in main and what's going the changes going forward, unless it's something that's like potentially very problematic in the past. So I'd say that your workflow really aligns well with what the English language docs do, but I do think it's interesting to see what other teams are doing, and where they're at in their process and what their goals are. That'd be interesting to hear from the other teams, what their strategy is as well. I wonder where the best place to get that is. That's a good point. Where to get that information and collect it, so we can kind of see where folks are at. Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe that's something to think about.
last item in the previous discussion item about updating the localization contribution docs. I also put subsection. Maybe it is beneficial to add a section to guide how to manage redirect URLs for localized page. I think there's no guide regarding the redirect so far. And actually, I checked the current status of redirect. Redirect just redirect the URL to somewhere. So when usually we in Kubernetes website, we use it when we move the document from here to somewhere, then we usually put a line item for redirection from the document from here to here, domain name here to here. So we use this redirect file in the purpose. But in case of English document, when we move English document somewhere, then English contributors sometimes add this redirect. But since localized document is not, it also should be moved by English document, but there's no redirection for localized pages so far. So sometimes we see we observe some 404 page. So currently localization teams are hardly manage the redirect file. No one actually checks. Once we observe any report, page does not exist report, then we check and try to whether to add the redirect item or not. So the PR is to reduce the kind of effort actually. So I built a script to verify for redirect items. And if there's English redirect, then duplicate localized redirect for all localization languages. So it is actually indirectly creating those this redirect file. So it's kind of changing procedure to maintaining the redirect itself, and the objective is to minimize localization effort on redirect. Anyway, in case of this PR, we are currently reviewing and discussing with technical reviewers, Tim and Quim.
Intel I froze, or Soko froze.
We don't have guideline to update redirect for localization pages. So you will see long discussion regarding this effort.
Thank you for your work on putting this together. There seems to be a long discussion that you you folks have been having about this. I think it's
Yeah,
yeah, I think it's a really interesting um, idea to just put in
yeah.
the redirects.
Yeah, maybe you can check the YouTube demo as well. I included demo
Okay,
in this PR so that you
this is the
can
PR.
easily review how it works. Maybe above the page you can see the yeah just polish your review process. I recorded how to use video.
Did you want me to show that? Sorry, if my internet was being a little weird, so I wasn't sure if I heard you.
Yeah, there's a link, but I'm not sure whether to see that video here in this meeting
Okay,
or not. Yeah.
okay.
Anyway, that video is how to use the script to indirectly manage the redirect file so that we don't have to. We means localization contributors does not need to care about their redirect for each localized page.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So maybe anyone who are interested in that script or and how to manage the redirect, you can check the video inside the PR.
Okay, awesome. Does anyone here have any thoughts on redirects? We'd love to hear them. Okay. Well, thank you for raising this. Have you posted this in the localization channel also, just to make people a little more aware if they weren't able to attend today? Be interesting to hear what the outcome of that conversation is. I haven't looked too much into that issue, but I will, and I'll see if I have any comments to add there. So I think our last item on the agenda is this discussion on generative AI. We talked about this in a little bit in the last meeting. Basically, there has been some people asking how we can use AI within our community to help do docs things easier, better, faster, stronger, all the other things that AI is supposed to help with. So there is this open discussion in the Kubernetes discussion repo. If you have any questions, to check it out. We've had some great comments before. I think the thinking right now is to not use it right now for localizations because there's a lot of issues with the translations. There's a lot of burden added onto the reviewers, and it's not quite process-wise. It doesn't really fit with our localizations right now. So I think if we will use it, it will be in use cases outside of directly in the localization and translation sphere. But that doesn't mean that it's not going to be something we can use somewhere else. So if you have thoughts or you're interested in this topic, please feel free to check out this discussion. It is also something we're looking into for the doc sprint at the upcoming KubeCon contributor summit for KubeCon North America happening in November in Chicago. So if you are able to attend that event, please look out for the doc sprint on the agenda. It should be, I think it's November 6th, would it be there? So the doc sprint in general is an event that we hold that is located in person. So it's people who are interested in helping the docs coming in, sitting down together, talking about docs issues, working on issues throughout the repo. So it's a great opportunity for us to talk about just things going on in the community and things we might want to see. So that's why we have the idea to talk about the AI because it's complex. It's not necessarily straightforward, and there's lots of different things we can do. So we're looking into doing an AI-focused doc sprint at KubeCon. So if you're able to attend, it's unfortunately only in person right now. We'd love to do one virtually, but we just don't have the know-how to do that right now. So if you're able to attend, I hope that you can come to join us at the doc sprint. And now, if you have questions about either the doc sprint or AI stuff, yeah, let me know. Okay. So we have officially reached the end of our agenda. We've had a lot of really great topics brought on. Thank you, Soko, for putting together all this great things within our agenda. Does anyone have any last minute items that they'd like to talk about? The floor is now yours. Okay. I see here the next meeting will be October 2nd. So we are looking forward to chatting more with you at the next meeting. And again, we're always around in Slack or in GitHub. So if you do have something you want to chat about, please feel free to reach out in the SIG Docs localization channel. We are happy to chat with you about anything. Thank you all for attending. I hope you have a good September, and we'll see you again in person in October. Well, virtually in person on Zoom. So, all right. Bye,
Thank you,
everyone.
Abby. Thank you. Bye bye.